Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic and Washington. I salute the flag of the state of the symbol. This is Trinity. Roll call, please, ma'am. Mr. Bucket. Yes, thank you. Ms. Lorenzo. Here. Dr. Here. Present, we do indeed have a quorum. Board members, first up, we have adoption of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? If so, what?
Presently, I have two changes. On item C, I would like to present the action item instead of the name listed there. I'll be presenting for item C. I will also be doing the presenting for item J. So I'll be recommending that amendment.
Board members, any other changes to the agenda?
No.
All right. Superintendent Wagner, do you have a recommendation, sir?
I recommend that we adopt the agenda for tonight's meeting with the amendment.
Very good. Board members, is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended, allowing Mr. Wagner on item C to be the presenter and item J for Mr. Wagner to be the presenter? Thank you. And a second, please. Thank you. It has been moved by Ms. Lorenzo and seconded by Ms. Salazar to approve the agenda as amended. Anything else for members? Very good. This is Shirley, roll call, please, ma'am.
Mr. Cosmo,
Yes.
Mr. Henry, Ms. Lorenzo, here, Ms. Salazar,
Yes.
Ms. Lee.
Aye. The motion carries. Next up, we have adoption of the meeting minutes. I understand Ms. Lorenzo has a change on the consent agenda, ma'am. Which is on page 8.
Now, for the last meeting, I stated that I would abstain. And
The notice. Absolutely. That is correct.
as what?
No.
No,
As an abstention.
yes.
Thank you.
Anything else on the minutes, board members? Right, superintendent.
I recommend that we approve the minutes from our February 17th meeting, with the changes regarding abstaining.
Very good. Board members, is there a motion to approve the minutes as amended, striking the statement from President Lee in the consent agenda? And a second. Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Ms. Salazar to approve the minutes as amended. Any discussion, board members? All right, hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call. Mrs. Turner.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Havanel,
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo, yes, Ms. Salazar, yes, Ms. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. Mrs. Turner, are there any citizens to address the board this evening, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
There are no citizens. First up, we have our presentations and action items. Mr. Wagner, sir.
Tonight we'll be having a presentation regarding the 2026 Mount Taylor Winter Quadrathlon. Mrs. Danielle Gators is asked to come and present to the board. Welcome.
Hello. Superintendent, Group President, board members. So I'm here on behalf of the Mount Taylor Winter Quadrathlon. I have the privilege of being the race director this year and next year. So we are on our 43rd year. And for those that don't know what it is a 44-mile race that starts downtown, goes up to the summit of Mount Taylor, 4 different sports, and we do it all in reverse and come down. We get quite a few participants with this, and so every year we extend asking for help with the schools. And so I did want to show our appreciation to the groups from the school district that have helped. So first, we get them out. I would like to invite Mr. Greiner up. Every year, the JHS band puts on our spaghetti dinner for the night before. It's a huge hit, and so I'd like to thank you for always doing that. Thank you. All right, next I have Grants High School National Honor Society. So I'm not sure who's Riley from the graduate. Do you know how many? I think there was 3 for National Honor Society. Healthy. Perfect. Thank you so much for your help. Thank you. All right, next I have Los Alamitos National Junior Honor Society. Thank you for your help.
Thank you.
All right, and so the last 2 that I have to recognize this year, we were able to put a scholarship together. We asked our participants if they would be willing to donate some money, and so that we could get this started. And so I do have 2 scholarship recipients. And in order to receive the scholarship, they had to attend 80% of our meetings, and they had to help the day of the race. And both of these girls, one helped with the spaghetti dinner, one helped at our equipment check-in the night before. And another thing with this is we're hoping to get more locals involved. And so I would like to recognize Miss Marian Diaz. Thank you. Thank you. And then I don't believe she's here, but Miss Olivia Toy-Bannon. That's all I have, and I thank you all for your help, and I'll see you all in the mountain next year. Thank you
so much.
Board members, I believe Miss Toy Bannon is getting ready for a band concert. She is. Probably why she's not here. Our second presentation tonight is, we've had several of these type of presentations. The state office of the Career Technical Leadership Project out of Eastern New Mexico University provides incentives to their chapters that are well performing. We have received a donation to the Laguna Acoma Skills USA chapter. And so presenting tonight, we have Ms. Seneca Natsaway, and I believe Julie Tabanal is here. There are Skills USA advisors at Laguna.
Good evening. Good evening. It's good to see you guys today. So we are presenting our donation. We are very excited to have this donation from Eastern. This is for $2,500. With this money that we're going to be receiving, we will be receiving some blazers, some professional blazers for the Skills USA students, so that they can show up to their events with the required uniforms. We also have some leadership trainings that we have for our students. It's an online leadership. Once they take the online course, they can get a leadership certification from that. So we have that for all our leadership students. So president, vice president, treasurer, all of our student officers. We also have some graduation cords that are going to be donated from Skills USA for our graduates who have met all of the requirements for Skills USA. We have requirements through NMA for good participation, acceptance, and through our school, we also have a 20-hour community service requirement. So that is, so once they meet that, then they will be able to get their honors boards. We also have some mass media items that we're going to be getting for with this funding, and Mr. B can
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here. And as part of the Skills USA, Miss Sanika is actually in charge of the welding program, and I am advising the media team program. And we're very grateful for this given opportunity to be awarded this funding, this grant, and part of the grant will go to some of our needs in mass media team, especially while preparing for the Skills USA competition. So we listed when we applied for the grant, I listed there, we need SD cards, camera flashes, microphones for filming, also lightings, equipments for our film productions, and also camera batteries. So those are was a small equipments that we do need, but we're very glad that finally we're gonna have them in preparation for the competition.
Yep, that's what our presentation. So thank you.
Excellent, thank you very much. Board members, at this time, we have consideration of approval of the donation to Laguna Acoma High School Skills USA in the amount of $2,500. Superintendent,
Board members, I recommend that we accept this donation and recommend Skills USA from Laguna Acoma for doing such a great job in the chapter.
absolutely. Board members, is there a motion to approve the donation? And a second? Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Ms. Lorenzo to approve the donation to Laguna Acoma Skills USA in the amount of $2,500. If members, any discussion? All right, hearing none, Mrs. Charlie.
Mr. Cochran? Yeah. Ms. Lorenzo? Yes. Ms. Salazar? Yes. Ms. Lee?
Aye, the motion carries. Now it's Mr. Widener's.
Item C is Mr. Wagner. On behalf.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Congratulations on making.
I'll be presenting on behalf of the Laguna Acoma High School DECA chapter. 2 meetings ago, they came and they accepted their donation from the Eastern New Mexico University and the Career Technical Leadership Project. They also are a chapter that they are in good standing. They have students that compete in state events and national events. DECA is the organization which stands for Distributive Education Clubs of America, CTSO. It's a nationwide CTSO for students interested in marketing. Their chapter is doing a great job with their marketing program at Laguna Acoma High School. They, as it's our policy, if you take students on an overnight trip, if you take students out of state, as per our policy, that has to come before the board. So tonight, they're planning early. Their national conference is in Atlanta, Georgia in April of 2026. And they would like to ask for approval to take the student out of state and overnight to the national DECA conference. And I recommend that we send them.
Perfect. Board members, we do have consideration of approval of the Laguna Acoma High School DECA out-of-state travel to Atlanta, Georgia in April of 2026. Superintendent has already given us his recommendation. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second.
I will give it to Monica on this one. It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Ms. Salazar to approve the Laguna Acoma High School DECA out-of-state travel to Atlanta, Georgia in April of 2026. Board members, any discussion? All right, here we are. Mrs. Turley, please.
Mr. Coffin,
Yes.
Mr. Romeo,
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo,
Yes.
Ms. Salazar, yes, Ms. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Laguna Acoma DECA.
Exactly.
Win. Cibola International Competition. The next item on the agenda, item D, is a similar request. 3 years ago, Mrs. Elkins and her team came up with a really good concept of something they could do at Grants High School that would be beneficial to all of their students. They began an AVID program, and AVID is a school success program. It helps prepare you for success in high school and success in the world. And it very much aligns with a lot of our career technical education programs. We found a great teacher for this program 2 years ago. He was there in another capacity and stepped in to be the teacher of our AVID program. And so without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Joshua Pacheco. He's going to be asking for out-of-state travel and overnight.
Good evening, everybody. So we're going to be, we wanted to travel to Northern Arizona University on April 28th, 2026. We're going to be taking 20 students, myself and another sponsor, out there. We'll be leaving earlier in the morning, about 6:30 a.m. From Grants High School. We'll be there. We'll be able to check out the living facilities that they have on campus. We'll be touring their main campus area because it's pretty spread out. So we'll be in the main section of that. Something that they have actually scheduled and structured for Grants High School, which is great. They've been very communicative, and they're trying to give us an overall outlook on college readiness in a four-year university for our students. Currently, we have freshmen through seniors that plan on participating in this event, and we will be returning around 6 p.m. to Grants High School. During that time, we'll be, touring some of the opportunities that they have at Northern Arizona, and a lot of giving them understanding of how living is at college.
I need to correct, it's not an overnight trip, it's just an out.
Just out of town, yes, just out of
Just
town.
out of
Sorry about that. Yeah, out of state, yes, it'll just be out of state.
For the day.
And I recommend that we send them to Northern Arizona University.
Excellent. So board members, at this time, we have consideration of approval of the Grants High School AVID group traveling out of state to Northern Arizona University on April 28th, 2026. Our superintendent has recommended we approve this. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second, please. Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Jaramillo and seconded by Mr. Clausen to approve the Grants High School AVID team out of state travel to Northern Arizona University, April 28th, 2026. Any discussion, board members? All right, hearing none, Mrs. Turley, please.
Mr. Coffin,
Yes.
Mr. Romeo,
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo, yes, Ms. Salazar, Ms. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you,
Enjoy
guys.
the trip. Absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Pacheco, I hope they really like that school.
Oh, yeah, I hope so too. They got a lot of opportunities up there.
It's not far.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Mr.
Um,
Reiner.
So 4 years ago, we started an FFA program at Grants High School. And Mr. Gonzalez often comes and visit with us and talk to us about trips and travel. And so Mr. Gonzalez currently has a list of things. He has a donation. He has some out-of-state travel and and overnight travel. And so needs to get approval from the board for that. So without further ado, I'd like to turn over to Mr. Amador Gonzalez and his students.
Superintendent, members of the Board of Education. My name is Amador Gonzalez. I am the agriculture teacher and FFA advisor at Grants High School. And here with me are a couple of my students, and these students have some incredible opportunities in front of them because these two, Monica Ruiz and Matthew Sandoval, were selected for a $500 travel grant from the National FFA organization to attend the National FFA Washington Leadership Conference in Washington, D.C. this summer. So we're excited that they get the opportunity to attend. And last week, I also received notification that Jules Pratt and another member, Elmira Pino, who could not be here this evening, were selected for an all-expense paid travel scholarship from the program called the Tribal Agriculture Fellowship to attend the National FFA Washington Leadership Conference. Jules and Elmira will be the 4th and 5th students from our program to receive the scholarship, which also includes 2 of our previous chapter presidents. So my plan at this point is to take all 4 of these kids to Washington, D.C. this summer so they can experience the joys and wonders of the National FFA Washington Leadership Conference, which includes learning about the value of service, meeting with congressional leaders at Capitol Hill, as well as a night tour of Washington, D.C., and service opportunities that they'll get to participate in at the conference. So very excited for these guys and the opportunities they have ahead of them.
Excellent. Thank you. Superintendent.
I recommend that we do send these students to Washington, D.C. this summer to represent Grants FFA. Very hot in Washington, D.C.
They have to wear these jackets.
I just want to say enjoy the blue and gold.
They have good air conditioning.
They don't have to wear them just one day, and that's the Capitol Hill. So that'll be fun.
Board members, at this time, we actually have 2 items. Our first item, we are going to take under consideration of approval the donation to Grants FFA in the amount of $1,000 for Monica Ruiz and Matthew Sandoval to attend the leadership conference in Washington, D.C. Superintendent, thank you for your recommendation. Board members, is there a motion to approve the donation to Grants FFA in the amount of $1,000 for Monica Ruiz and Matthew Sandoval to attend the leadership conference in Washington, D.C.? I'm going to make the motion. I'm excited for these kids. Is there a second, please? Thank you. It has been moved by President Lee and seconded by Mr. Jaramillo to approve the donation to Grants FFA in the amount of $1,000 for Monica Ruiz and Matthew Sandoval to attend the leadership conference in Washington, D.C. Discussion, board members. Mrs. Turley, please.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. Holly,
Yes.
Ms. Corinto. Yes. Salazar.
Yes.
Mrs. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. Next up, we have consideration of approval of 4 Grants FFA members out-of-state travel to Washington, D.C., July 6th through 11th, 2026. Those 4 students are Monica Ruiz, Jules Pratt, Matthew Sandoval, and Elmira Pino. Thank you again, Superintendent, for your recommendation. Board members, is there a motion? Motion. Let me give it to Mr. Jaramillo and a second by Mr. Clausen. It has been moved by Mr. Jaramillo and seconded by Mr. Clausen to approve the 4 Grants FFA members out of state travel to Washington, D.C., July 6th through 11th, 2026. Discussion, board members. Hearing none, we shall proceed. Mrs. Turley, please.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo,
Yes.
Ms. Corinto. Yes. And Salazar. Yes. And Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. Congratulations.
Someday when one of you is a U.S. Senator, you remember us.
Yes.
Board members, item F.
And it's in
Board members, for item F, about 4 years ago, we started a partnership with Johns Hopkins University. And we have taken students from Grants High School, Laguna Acoma High School, as well as the Early College High School. And our students have gone and they've talked about what it looks like to be a graduate of the Grant Cibola County School District. And so,
Sorry, it's. No,
oh, I'm good? Okay, good. So 4 years ago, we started a really great partnership with Johns Hopkins University. And our students have come together. They've met at GHS, they've been at Laguna, I don't know if they've been at the early college. Here in the central office.
Yes.
And they come together and they talk about, what does it mean to graduate from this school district? And what kind of skills do you need? And what kind of ambition and vision do you have to be part of this district? And the work that's coming out of these students is inspiring and amazing and really is going to help put our district on the map. So my good friend, Michelle Starnes, she's been a friend of mine for a long time. And she switched jobs. She used to be with the public education department and she's been working with Johns Hopkins and she's kind of leading with the help of our SSA staff. SSA staff stand up. We have great SSAs at our community. We don't have that stands for Student Success Advisors. And we don't have an SSA at early college. It's Dr. Martin. So they've been leading the work and working with Michelle, and like I said, it's very inspired. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Michelle Starnes.
Like it's sharing access. I'm sharing access to the Zoom. No, I need sharing access to the Zoom so we can display.
We will get you there.
Okay, that's fine. Good evening, Madam President, Executive Leaders Board President, our stakeholders, and our students. My name is Michelle Starnes, and it is an honor once again to be here with our student design team and give you an update. It's part of our phase of the profile of a graduate. We did some phases for you so that you could see where we were going and when we were going to get there. And so we're honored today to share with you our profile of a graduate update with our students. Make sure you all can see those at home. All right. So this whole relationship for our new board members, welcome and thank you for being here and having the ability and the foresight to hear what our students are doing and providing them voice. My name is Michelle Starnes. You heard Superintendent Widener talk about my longevity as an educator in New Mexico. I am a native New Mexican educator for a lot of years, did work at the public education department and was poached by Johns Hopkins University because of my work with high school redesign. I was the deputy director for school improvement. We had 16 schools across New Mexico that participated in high school redesign and we got national attention. Laguna Acoma happened to be part of our first cohort. So I have a long-standing relationship with Grant Cibola County Schools and I feel like I'm home when I'm here and have lots of friends. I wanted to really say thank you to Amy Reyes. I want to talk and thank Stevie Elkins so much for your support and Dr. Melton for supporting the schools, Ms. Garcia, Superintendent Widener, and Ms. Sanchez. We are so honored and thankful for you guys for continuing to support us because we know it takes a lot to get our students transported from one school to another. And we just want to thank you. But we couldn't do this, might I add, without our student success advisors because they are ensuring that our students are chosen based on a multitude of criteria. We're not choosing students who have all A's. We're not choosing students who are absent all the time. It's a great mix. And again, this is our 4th year. So thank you so much to our student success advisors. What do we do without them?
Johns Hopkins University is a research university, as you all are aware, one of our largest. But how did this begin? And I'll make it quick, but I really did want to catch up our new board members. The Annie Casey Foundation partnered with the Everyone Graduates Center, which is at the School of Education where I work. And they said, we want to look at schools. We want to make sure that students in underrepresented communities have access to education, experiences in the workplace. We want to make sure that they have all that they need to succeed. And so I have been working with some schools in the South Valley and in Albuquerque, and I was pleased to hear from Granite Cibola County Schools that said, Michelle, what are you doing and how can we partner with you? And so we began the partnership. The grant actually ended in December. But let me tell you something about your students here in grants, my kids, your kids. The students have presented nationally with their work as a student design team. They are pioneers, and I say that without light. They are pioneers in this work. Schools across the country are wanting to see what we're doing in Granite Cibola County schools. And when I say that, I'm talking about the profile of a graduate. We can hire somebody to come in for Granite Cibola County schools and get something done, utilize AI or whatever we need to put a poster on the wall. What we've done differently here is the students have done all the work. The stakeholder engagement, the designing, the prototypes, the surveys, all of the things that we first updated you about our last time that we were here. The students have done all of it. You have a report in your packet that demonstrates all of this and talks about all the things that we've done. They've made national publications that are in front of you. And so I wanted to just make sure that you all knew. And nationally, they presented virtually to schools across the country, to the Gates Foundation, to the Annie Casey Foundation, and to many other foundations across the country, Carnegie and everywhere, different Harvard, Stanford were on the Zoom. And so they got to see our kids present. They also presented in person in Albuquerque to other educators across the state. And it was there that the schools had decided, Gordon Burnell, health leadership, technology leadership, all charter schools and some middle schools have said, how are you doing that and how can we do it in our school? So when I talk about our school and our students paving the way for this work, I'm truly saying to you all that it's paving the way what our students have done here. And so this, when we started this, I know that you're working on your new strategic plan. We actually garnered some of your goals from your previous strategic plan because this is starting 4 years ago, right? And so there are 3 goals that I want to talk about real quick with you. When your first goal in your current strategic plan was fostering student excellence and academic achievement. We know that when students are doing something that is a pro-social activity, research is telling us that they are more likely to do better in school and to graduate. And so this is part of that pro-social activity, being the voice for their school and their community. The third goal on your strategic plan was to create a school climate and environment that is safe, supportive, inclusive, and respectful. And what these students have done by including the voice of teachers, including the voice of students, and including the voice of their community, fosters all of that in your goal. The third one was to engage our diverse families in communication and student success. One of the things I wanted to ensure that our students were able to do was to read and look at data. And what they've done is they've done a qualitative research project and they did a student focus group, with the students designed the focus group questions, the students led the focus group. We had our mayor from Grants, we had community members, we had business members, and it was phenomenal. And so that's part of that diverse families and community interest. So our question when we began this task was, are we doing what we need to for our students, and is it working? And so in your packets, you'll see that you have a milestone, national milestone. You also have a copy of some of the things that the skills that the students are building and are getting pretty perfect at, might I add. And in our student design sessions, they're looking at dissemination, they're looking at delegation, building relationships, and civic engagement. And so they're doing all of these things and perfecting them, and we're just so excited for all of those. How will you measure your profile of a graduate? We took it straight from the national milestones. You have a copy in your packets. The national milestones were created by educators across the country, from social workers, teachers, and superintendents who said, these are the things we need our students to know before they leave. And yes, we even had businesses look at them to tell us and inform us some of the things that they needed. And so you'll see that some of them are social emotional, academic, post-secondary. These do not necessarily have to start in high school. We can start these in middle school and they can go past 2 years past graduation. The real idea is that students have either a college kind of connection or that they have a career that will sustain a family when they graduate. So here are just some of the profile graduates, some of the components, the strengths, the values, the key competencies, and the cultural elements that the students did a lot of work to get this information that is going to be shown in their profile of a graduate for you. I want you to remember though, when we started our work together, one of the first things we made sure that we did together was to highlight our assets. It's real easy to think about the things that we don't have in small communities. I live in Belen. And so it's real easy for me to talk about the things that we don't have. But when I start to focus on the things that we do have in our assets, boy, it shifts your mindset, right? And the students did just that. They looked at the strengths of each other, the students, they looked at the strengths of the adults in the building, and they looked at the strengths in their community collectively. I need to remind you all that these students decided to work together to develop the profile of a graduate, all 3 high schools. They did not want to have separate profiles of a graduate. And so that's why we're coming up with a district profile of a graduate. And without further ado, I'll allow the kids to speak.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I am Randy Gers, and I'll also be speaking on behalf of Jaden Carlisle, who is at Program Conservation Analysis. So our profile of the graduate is based around an MRI image, and we chose this image because it is the perfect embodiment of what our core values are and how they all lie deep within us. And everybody has these core values and access to these core values. Some of these core values include the brain, the mouth, and the shoulders, which represent respect, communication, confidence, delegation, comprehension, and critical thinking, and building relationships. So this is our second prototype for our portrait of a graduate. With our third prototype, we will focus more on including the 3 mascots into it, so that way when you look at this portrait of a graduate, it's clear that this is the portrait of a graduate for a GCCS student.
Hi, I'm Jacob. So if this gets approved, promoting will be like posters, district-wide sent email. They can also be shared through our social medias. So the spine, which is the commitment, so that's the backbone of devotion, balance, which holds you up, along with the heart, which is the core value you make, you estimate deep kindness, and yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Sebastian Pino, and I just want to finish out with talking about how the heart represents core values and what makes a unique person themselves, and about altruism, how you're able to give kindness and not expect it in return. And then the last one would be how the hands would represent leadership and how they help shape ideas, great ideas, and how they can accomplish them. And lastly, I just want to thank Madam President, board members, community members for all supporting us and for being and for listening and hearing us out on this.
So in closing, that was our first group. And then here's where we are today. In closing, you heard me say that the grant had ended for me to work in grants. And the kids summoned my boss and they said, we don't want to stop working. We have work to do and we want to keep going. We want to power through this and we want Miss Michelle to continue to work with us. And I had already promised the students that I would continue to work with them until we finish this. So thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the opportunity to demonstrate that what students need and want is heard and valued and that they are seen. So thank you so much. And I stand for questions.
Board members, so this was a presentation. Probably in the near future, we'll be looking at a resolution to say that we agree with what our students have found. I do want to tell the students and just make a comment. From my chair as the superintendent of the school district, the greatest asset we have is our students. And I am so thankful for you. We talk about a heavy lift. You guys have been doing the heavy lift on this. And so thank you for your work and thank you for educating us about what a graduate of GCCS looks like.
Well said, sir. Well said. Sir.
I have a comment. They were well engaged. I was part of that participation that they did. And Vanda's not here, but she was the one that sat at my table. You know, she was the shaker and the mover there. So all of you guys were, but you guys pretty much ran the show there and it looked good.
And thank you for your participation, Mr. Jaramillo. I think that meant a world to the students. And I think that it invested in their self-confidence. And I see them standing taller. So thank you for your time and being there.
Thank you. Wholeheartedly, thank you so much. And as Mr. Weiner said, we'll be working hard to get that resolution when you all are ready for the final of that. We're so proud of everything that you students have done. Thank you so much. One more round of applause. Oh, thank you so much. It's always the best with the kids here. And absolutely, there is just the biggest asset of all.
Parents, if you're watching our board meeting, thank you for sending your kids to our district.
That's right, that's right.
Our next presentation is going to be Mr. Jones. He's gonna come up and talk to you about our Mason View construction network. Some of the tools that we need to have in place at Mason View. So, Mr. Jones.
Perfect. Madam President, members of the board, I have the privilege of wearing a few hats. One of those hats that I wear is in technology. Our technology team is highly advanced. Our network is in really good shape. We finished Bluewater Elementary School, and after we did that, I was attending the New Mexico Technology and Education Conference. And I was actually approached, and I learned that Bluewater Elementary School was one of, if not the first school in the state of New Mexico to have Wi-Fi 7. So that just kind of shows the caliber of the guys that we have in terms of how much thought they put into how things are done. So as we're nearing the end of construction at Mesa View and we're nearing occupancy, we need to purchase that hardware to go into Mesa View. So this plan has been worked on by Isaac and team and configured, and full disclosure, their understanding is way further than mine. This is a quote that is part of the budget to approve Mesa View. Me being me and being totally transparent, I would not feel comfortable making this expense without board approval. This is on a CES contract. Additionally, it was the lowest of the three that we received. A&M is the vendor, and they are also doing the access controls and the security cameras at this site. It makes a lot of sense to me to have the same vendor do all the things that are the network, especially where we have a good relationship with them up until this point.
Good. Superintendent, we now have consideration of approval of Advanced Network Management, Inc. And I'm assuming the QT is the quote number, and it is 0030108820 in the amount of $141,226.26. Do you have a recommendation, sir?
I do, real quick before I make a recommendation, because we have some relatively new board members. I will let you know that CES stands for Cooperative Educational Services. And what they do is they negotiate government contracts, so you get the lowest bid, the lowest price quote for services. And so Mr. Jones referenced that that's a CDS bid. And so I recommend that we do contract with Advanced Network Management Incorporated in the amount of $141,226.26.
Very good, sir. And I'll reference Mr. Jaramillo was reminding me that it did come to the Finance Committee on Friday. And Mr. Jones did a equally thorough job explaining that to us on Friday for the newer board members. So, board members, is there a motion to approve the Advanced Network Management Inc. Quote ending in 820 in the amount of $141,226.26?
So moved.
And a second, please. Thank you, sirs. It has been moved by Mr. Jaramillo and seconded by Mr. Clausen to approve the A&M quote in the amount of $141,226.26 for the network appliances at Mesa View. Any discussion, board members? All right, Mrs. Turley.
Mr. Clausen,
Yes.
Mr. Romeo,
Yes.
Ms. Lorindo, yes, Ms. Salazar, yes, Ms. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. Mr. Wagner, sir.
President Lee, board members, Mr. Jones is going to stay up there. He has a couple more presentations, but at this time, he's going to talk to you about the request for approval for additional design services. We have partnered with Wilson and Company on our Mesa View construction project. Wilson and Company are the design engineers, and so we are a little behind on the job, so we need to catch up on making sure that we're paying coverage.
Absolutely. Madam President, members of the board, with contracts like this, usually you have a day and then a daily rate for that contract. We recently approved kind of the tandem to this to grant additional days to Bradbury to finish the project. This is the other side of that, to grant the additional days for Wilson and Company. Wilson and Company's relationship with the district is that Wilson and Company ensures that the building is created, erected, fastened, all of the things, all of the construction verbs, the way that they designed it to be done. So this is including additional design services for those days and making sure that the structure is totally firm. We will have another one of these that will be a lesser amount just for the additional design from part one of my presentations because we had to change some of the appliances in the closets, which means we had some different conduit and things like that. What I love about the designers is they think about when a parent walks through, what does this look like, and do the color splash and all that kind of stuff. So this is us continuing that relationship through the remainder of Mesa View.
Board members, at this time, we have consideration of approval of the additional design service requests from Wilson and Company in the amount of $117,015.82. Superintendent.
Board members, I recommend that we approve the payment of $117,000, $117,015.82.
Very good. Board members, is there a motion? And a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, sirs. It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Mr. Jaramillo to approve the additional design service request from Wilson and Company incorporated in the amount of $117,015.82. Any discussion, board members? Here we go. So proceed, Mrs. Charlie.
Mr. Clausen,
Yes.
Mr. Romeo,
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo, yes, Salazar,
Yes.
Ms. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. Last up, for Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones has one more presentation. Tonight, we're going to be asking you to pass a resolution in regards to our part-time employees. And so I will let Mr. Jones talk.
Last time, and really simple, and all the information has been included in the board packet. This resolution would extend benefits to employees that are working 50 to 20 hours. It's good for our people. It's especially good for our part-time people. The school district is the largest employer in the county. And we have a hard time sometimes filling our vacancies and our FTEs. So when we have an opportunity to do something for our people, we take that opportunity. This is something that's fairly standard in school districts and with their benefits. Not very complex, pretty cut.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jones. Mr. Anderson.
I recommend that we approve the resolution. We will all sign that tonight if it passes.
Very good. So board members, we have consideration of approval of the resolution 2026-02 for part-time employees for the 2026-2027 school year. Is there a motion to approve this resolution? All right, it has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Ms. Lorenzo to approve resolution 2026-02 for part-time employees for the 2026-2027 school year. Board members, any discussion? All right, Mrs. Chili, roll call, please, ma'am.
Mr. Costello.
Yes.
Mr. Harville.
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo. Yes. Ms. Salazar. Yes. Ms. Peter.
Aye, the motion carries. Mr. Reiner, sir.
We're back to me.
It is you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Absolutely. Board members, we have a great tradition in the Grant Cibola County School District. Annually, we celebrate our employees. It's National Teacher Appreciation Week, usually the first week of May. And we as a district historically have held big events where we recognize our retirees. We recognize our folks that have worked for the district for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And we celebrate our employees. We give door prizes. Usually there's food involved and a lot of celebration. On our district calendar, this event is scheduled for May 1st. We are wanting to go back to our tradition. The last couple of years, we've held a gala. And the gala was kind of by invite only. So if a teacher had worked for the district for 20 years, they were invited to bring a +1. And so, but a lot of our feedback was that people wanted to go back to the all staff gathering, bring all 500 employees together. And if I'm retiring, I can invite my spouse to come. And we do this in the Grants High School gymnasium. And so with us going back to the traditions, we would like to amend our calendar to move staff appreciation to May 8th instead of May 1st. That would give us time. We have a lighting project happening that we're going to be trying to complete in the months of March and April at Grants High School. We also have our assessment window. And so all through the month of April, our kids are testing. And so we don't want to interfere with that. And May 8th also puts the celebration closer to graduation. And that means we can put down the padding on the floor and all of that in the gymnasium. And that's a lot of work to do that. So I recommend that we amend our calendar for Staff Appreciation Day to be May 8th as opposed to May 1st.
Thank you for the recommendation. Board members, is there a motion to approve the adjustment to the 2025-2026 academic calendar moving Staff Appreciation Day from May 1st to May 8th. And a second, please. Board members' discussion. I have a question, sir. In making this move, was that day a day off where there are no students?
Correct. May 1st was a day off. And so what we'll do, if you approve this amendment, it will be putting the word out to the communities and the teachers and students will come to school on May 1st. They will not go to school on May 2nd.
Thank you for the clarification, sir. Any further discussion, board members? Hearing none, we shall proceed to roll call, Ms. Cherry.
Mr. Clausen.
Yes.
Mr. Alvin.
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo. Yes. Ms. Salazar. Yes. Ms. Lee.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you so much, sir. Next up, we have Mr. Brian Colon with us this evening. He is going to be presenting on the dark side of social media and how the growing use paves the road to litigation. And sir, I will let you know, I have the slide deck on my computer that I will be able to share. You just need to let me know. I may do when I get to it, as far as advancing goes.
Sure. Madam President, may I approach?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, I'll introduce myself, is that right?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. I'm gonna pass out a couple of things, so you know, does that?
Yes, thank you, sir.
It's really an honor, Mr. Lieutenant, sorry. It is really an honor to be before you. I traveled this state many times over the years. I've been in this very facility. I've served in the past as your state auditor of New Mexico and have often spoken at your school board association meetings, your superintendent's meetings, year in and year out. Some of you have had to suffer through those presentations, and others are just not sure what you're in for right now. Those who have, you know exactly what you're in for. But it's a real honor to be here. Thank you, Madam President, for allowing me to come speak today to ask your board and your district to contemplate whether or not you are going to join a movement that is taking place across the country. And it is in regards to holding social media companies accountable for the dark side of social media. And if I may, I'm going to go through a slide deck. I know I've been allocated, I think, 20 or 25 minutes. You were very generous. I'll try and be respectful of your time in the evening. And I know I can't be as charming as those students that were up here earlier. I've enjoyed being here for your entire meeting and enjoyed those presentations most. But I would hope that I can get through the slide deck quickly and then open it up for any questions, Madam President, board members, Mr. Superintendent, and staff. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer those at the end, if that's all right.
Thank you, sir.
All right, great. So if we can click begin on here, and greetings to those who are online. I have a question. You know, I went and refreshed right before my presentation. I saw the superintendent cabinet and I saw you're already in it. Very nice. But I don't know why, out of all those photographs, Francis Lee jumped out at me. Is that a predecessor of yours, a relative?
Yes, sir. That is my husband's grandmother. She was the first Francis Lee on the board, and I'm honored to be the next Francis Lee.
I just had to ask, and it's not part of my presentation. Maybe I'll be endeared a little bit because I noticed, but that's just remarkable. It was, first of all, honoring the history of the district is remarkable in itself. Not every district does that, and so I was taken with the cabinet of leaders there. You know, let me just say, I want to start by saying that the topic that we're going to talk about tonight is a sensitive topic. It's also very serious, and it's a topic that I will give you some perspective from where I sit. I've been a practicing attorney for 25 years in New Mexico, except for the years when I was in statewide public office. But I have been married to an educator and an education professional for 30 years. And so I'm very familiar with the composition of the classroom, those who have been educators before, principals. I have been along that journey with you by way of my wife. And I understand that school districts often are asked to do more with less. I understand that educators are often asked to be so much more than just educators, so to speak. Social media has amplified those demands in the classrooms and in homes. And social media companies have to be held to account. And that's really why I'm here tonight. But I also wanted you to know that I'm traveling the entire state. I now represent school districts in Pacific Northwest, Texas, New Mexico primarily, as you might guess. This is where they'll bury me, and this is where I love representing my clients. And the concerns are coast to coast. I will show you in the slides that there are over 200 school districts nationwide. I think it's actually over 300 now. They are signing up by the day. There are close to 2,000 plaintiffs in this lawsuit from around the country against these social media platforms to hold them accountable for the additional stressors that are in the classrooms and in your school districts where you have had to stand up additional resources, whether that be teacher education time, whether it be mental health professionals, or those platform protections that you have in your technology part of what you do in terms of presenting to the students. So let me just start a little bit here with this presentation, talking about social media mental health. And there really is the body of evidence now in terms of the connection between the social media addiction, which is now a classified diagnosis and has been spotlighted by our Attorney General. I'm going to have you click through these slides. Do I have you do that, or is there a clicker somewhere? So I have to.
No, unfortunately, I have to do it.
All right, I'll just give you a wink real quick.
If you've got it.
So yeah, I got 24 weeks coming their way. All right. But let me start by defining, no disrespect. You know, I know you're a former Marine. I'm feeling like I'm not standing straight enough. And thank you for your service.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded with Marines in my law firm. The transition from DOJ, Department of Justice, the lawyers that work in the Marines, those JAG officers, and said there was a little bit of an exodus in the last couple of years. And we have been the beneficiary of several retired colonels and some of my mentees who served in the Marines and now work at our law firm. So it really is a pleasure to meet you. I don't think we've had a chance to work with you, so it's nice to see you. Thank you. This is the clinical definition of social media addiction: individuals who engage in excessive, compulsive social media platform use for the purpose of mood alteration with negative personal consequences. This is a clinical definition that has been adopted by the field and is utilized extensively. And the next slide, please. Oh, we're scrolling. Yes. All right. I'm not sure if you can see from all the way over there, and I'm not going to read all the slides to you. And in fact, I will provide each board member and support team and Mr. Superintendent a copy of the slide deck.
We do have that in our.
Oh, you've already got it in your
Yes.
package.
Yes.
Well, you know, my team was so good. They
sent it.
They killed the tree and sent it with me too. So, and sadly, it's personalized for your district, so I'm not sure who else to give it to. But thank you for being prepared. In fact, you know, I think I'm presenting to them next week. Let's cross it out. But these are some things that you might think about when you think about mood alteration and mood modification, either favorable change or negative change in emotional state, salience, which is behavioral change, cognitive change, emotional preoccupation with social media, just the general distractions that you all education professionals hear about, or if you've been in the classroom, you know about every single day. Other symptoms from the addictive behavior: conflict, interpersonal problems ensue because of social media usage. It becomes another vehicle that more often than not causes challenges in terms of relationships among students in a school district. And those conflicts can be traced back to social media engagement. And I'll have you go to the next slide. Those are symptoms, these are consequences. Sleep disruption, anxiety, negative impact on personal relationships, social anxiety disorder, and declined academic performance. The next slide, please. In 2023, it's really when you first heard a national conversation about social media addiction and about the dark side of social media, so to speak. And I will tell you, at the time, the Surgeon General was received. It was interesting because the Surgeon General was received in a way that people just kind of mocked. Because the Surgeon General called for time limitations on social media platforms, parental notification, parental permission. And I've included some of that in my slides. But as we're in this room and as your leaders tonight, in 2026, I would guess that none of you find that to be funny, offensive, or way out of what is in the realm of possibility to protect our children, right? So much has changed in the last 3 years, just in the last 3 years. So the Surgeon General is really ahead of their time here. But what the report that was officially put out by the Surgeon General and his advisories, he talked about the platforms being designed to maximize user engagement, which had the potential to encourage excessive use and behavioral dysregulation. And what that means in our terms would be, we all have heard about algorithms now, right? We know the algorithms draw us in. We know when I talk about that someday I'd like to have a newer Genesis automobile instead of the one that has 200,000 miles that's sitting in the parking lot. When I pick up my cell phone, I will open up my browser and you would be surprised how many pop-up ads are going to come because of Genesis. Has anybody not experienced that? It's remarkable. But those are all about algorithms. These social media platforms were designed intentionally with algorithms to draw young people in and to keep them in and to keep them on their platforms. Why? Because that's how they monetize their product. Eyeballs on. Let me go ahead and go to the next page. Right there. These numbers probably don't surprise you because you're education professionals. 95% of adolescents use at least one social media platform, and 33% indicate they use it almost constantly. Now, here's what's shocking. And some of you are professional and you've done research work. I will tell you, this is self-reporting. What do we know about self-reporting, particularly if it's perceived to be self-reporting on negative behavior? Well, it's underreported. Underreported. So this is self-reporting indicates 1/3 of all students indicate themselves that they're almost constantly on social media platforms. And what we know is that self-reporting is underreporting. So just remarkable statistics. Next slide, please. And this slide is really kind of a 30,000-foot look at where we are in this country. And not everything can be tied to social media, but we can assure you that social media is driving a lot of these statistics. And I need not go over these numbers. You can see them there. They are stark. They are difficult. But it's also something as leaders in a school district you don't deal with. I haven't been before a school board that hasn't had to bring in extra mental health professionals to help their students with the grieving process because they've lost somebody in the district. So these numbers are real. And they're, like my wife says, they're not just numbers, those are names. And they're real people and real students. Next slide, please. This is the call to action, saying that 13 is too young for children to be joining on social media. He called for it to be banned. And the next page. Vivek said that we've set standards for other products and required manufacturers to implement and abide by those standards. We've got to do the same here. It's urgent that we take action. Tech companies certainly need to design their platforms with health and safety in mind, particularly for young people. The next slide, please. What do the tech companies do? A whole lot of nothing. Why? Because big corporations report to shareholders. Big corporation CEOs are beholden to profit margins. Big tech corporations will always put profits ahead of safety. I have concurrent litigation going on right now where I represent, we just tried a case against Tesla and Elon Musk and received a jury verdict in the amount of $243 million because the autopilot vehicles were misrepresented, misused, and took the lives of individuals. Why? Because that is big tech. Go fast, break it, we'll worry later. And safety is never going to be over profits for giant corporations. And that's what that slide demonstrates. Corporate profit through advertising revenue, even at the expense of the health and well-being of this generation's youth, is exactly what they prioritize. Next slide, please. So this here kind of speaks a little bit more about what I said earlier, but the platform is designed to distort the user's ability to perceive time and eliminating any reason to pause or stop using the platform. We've called it death scrolling, right? Death scrolling, doom scrolling, thank you. It targets, we also know about this, the dopamine connection between what they're scrolling on and what they get, the feel-good chemical release from our brains. And users remain on the platform longer when engaged with provocative content. So algorithms were programmed to push users towards harmful and exploitive content to attract and maximize user engagement. These are children we're talking about. And you all know the dark side of the web. And that is where these children were drawn to their detriment and great risk. Next page, please. These are the companies that we're holding accountable. YouTube, 95% children report using it, 67% report using TikTok, and 59% on Snapchat. This number just doesn't compute for me. I think far more than 2 out of 3 children or adolescents, I'll say, are on TikTok. Again, this I need to check that stat because I always think about this when I do the presentation. I don't think this is self-reporting, so maybe it's accurate, but I find that number just hard to digest because I deal with young leaders all the time, and including all the young people I mentor, and TikTok is just where it's at right now. And they may be outdated. Those could be numbers from a couple of years ago. I'm gonna find that out and I'll email you. Next page. This gives you some sense of what's the motivating factor. These are the profit margins and the revenue streams generated by these platforms. Outrageous numbers. And corporations are driven by numbers and profit margins. Next page. 60 Minutes did a substantial profile, extremely well done on this issue. Really got families talking, and we had a clip in there of that, but we're not going to be able to share that today because we're scrolling through my thing. Next page. It's a great picture though. So let me talk to you a little bit about kind of why am I here? It's not just to amplify the issue, but it's actually to hold these social media platforms accountable. This is what we call multi-district litigation, meaning there are plaintiffs from all over the country. As of May 2025, almost a year ago, there were 1,787 plaintiffs, 200 school districts. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think our most recent numbers, we're close to 1,200 school districts. 1,200 school districts across the country. Just 1 year ago, or a little less than a year ago, it was 200. School districts have said, this is not just about revenue for our school district, it's about accountability and changing corporate behavior. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go. The first bellwether trial was set for June. It's now getting pushed out a little bit. If you've ever dealt with lawyers, or if you've ever been involved in litigation, calendars are fluid. Trials never go in first setting. It's always pushed out. But I do believe that part of this MDL, the bellwether case, which means the state that was selected for this case to go to trial, will happen before the end of the year. And it is true that it is scheduled to be a personal injury case. So loss of life case, not a school district case. But they have selected the 4 or 5 states that are going to have the first bellwether school districts. And that'll probably happen in 27. We can go to the next slide. So this is where I was kind of foreshadowing. What we're trying to do is, I mean, this is kind of probably obvious, but this is what we're facing. These defendants have banks of attorneys. I mean, there were 16 attorneys on the other side of that trial at Tesla. My law firm had 4, including a junior associate who just passed the bar. So it's really 3 lawyers and 1 big. But they try to bury us with discovery. They try and exclude witnesses. You may have even read some of the clippings about the trial that's going on right now here in New Mexico with Raul's team, with the Attorney General's team. They're trying to extend the discovery still. That is also moving the trial date. And then they were unsuccessful at narrowing the bellwether pool. We were successful in that argument. Next page. Next page. Covered that. And again, I had a great video for you, but you're not going to get to see it. Next page. Which almost looks like this page, but no. See the senator's repositioned because it's another clip. Next page. There we go. You know, when you don't do the clips, the presentation goes quick. That's amazing how that works. This is what we're bringing. We're bringing negligence claims on behalf of the school districts that we represent, that they negligently designed. It's nearly a product liability case where we're saying that they knowingly put that algorithm on the market, in the market, and we have testimony now from engineers in depositions that say they knew and they advised, and leadership didn't care. They advised that this was going to be harmful to the students and children and our communities. So go to the next page, please. And a public nuisance, and this gets to the conditions in the classrooms, the conditions in the schools, and the things you've had to do to mitigate the potential for danger for your students. And that's the public nuisance claim. In the next slide. Everything I talked about, these are the damages that we'll put forth. Whether it's prevention programs, resource officers, loss of teaching time and learning time for our students. I'll have you go to the next page. And what I want to hit home here, of course, this is next steps. Consult legal counsel. You just have. Congratulations, you came sent one. But what I really wanted to talk about is why I believe there's 1,200 school districts. And I represent school districts in this litigation. I don't represent all 1,200, but I represent many school districts, and I have them as small as 380 students. I think it has my largest school district that I personally represent is Las Cruces Public Schools, and everything in between the US. And about 14 school districts that have signed on. And the reason I bring up the size of school districts like Mora that have signed on, and that Paso Peñasco is going to sign on, is because this really is about that accountability I talked about a few minutes ago. It's not just about the amount of, how much am I going to get for Mora? I mean, quite frankly, I may not even be able to pay my gas money to go up there and back with the recovery for Mora. But Mora knows that the more school districts that stand in this litigation, the bigger the pressure points are for the social media companies to change their behavior. And when we're there negotiating for real change in these social media companies' approach to doing business and providing that platform to our families, when we say we've got 3,000 school districts, both large and small, saying enough's enough, it changes the dialogue. It really does. And then, quite frankly, I've said that whether your school district is 3,200 or I bet Superintendent Widener knows exactly. I say about 3,200. Am I right?
But we're
Plus or minus
about 3,100.
31. I always like to see things bigger than they are. Maybe 3,200. I'm projecting where you're headed.
We won. Yeah.
Well, what I heard tonight, I'm ready to have another child so I can send them. Mine's 28 now. So, but a product of public schools, as my wife would have them be. But I think that's why we've seen this huge influx of school districts come forward, because it's not just about the recovery, it's about accountability and holding these social media companies accountable for what they've done to our families, to our homes, to our school districts, and to our communities. And that has put our children at risk. Hard stop. And they've got to be held accountable. And for me, it's kind of a crusade because I'm a national law firm. I have offices in 8 states. I've got 16 offices total. I've got 5 offices in New Mexico alone. We've got 120 lawyers. We've got 500 employees. We do big stuff. And quite frankly, we are robust enough that we can afford to be Don Quixote sometimes and tilt at windmills. And we can afford to represent small school districts, because when my partners came to me and I said, you know, we're looking at getting involved in this litigation. I said, look, that's great. I said, but when I was running for office in New Mexico, when I was serving as state auditor in New Mexico, I made sure that people in all 33 counties knew that whether they were rural counties, urban counties, whether they were on I-25 or not, that I cared about New Mexico and that I cared about every one of those communities. And I said, I'm going to be representing big school districts and small school districts. And we may or may not make any money on this, but we're sure going to hold the social media companies accountable. And quite frankly, I've proven that to be true. And I feel like we've really provided a service. And we've been able to do it in a way where I can stand before you tonight and say, our agreement that we enter into with superintendents across the state is essentially a no-risk agreement. We do these types of cases this is not exceptional. They're done on contingency. So we receive a portion of any recovery. What's interesting about our firm's approach is that we say something slightly different than others, because typically you pay a percentage of the recovery and you pay the costs associated with the litigation. It may sound familiar to a few of you in here. If you've ever been in a personal injury case or ever been represented by a lawyer that says contingency, it's a percentage plus cost. My firm, and we're entering into these school district agreements saying that if we don't have a recovery, the district's not even responsible for costs. Not a single thing will come out of the district's budget. So there's no investment of any resources. And then it's important to say, and I think the superintendent heard me say this at one of my presentations, I, for one, and personally, and my firm collectively is very aware that school districts are overburdened with obligations and reports out, the PEDs, you know, report outs and all that stuff. So we're very aware that administration has a lot on their plate. And so what we do is we try and take the vast majority of that off and only engage the administration and the staff when it's absolutely time to review what we've prepared. And we gather our data from public sources. You'd be surprised how much public information is out there about the district that one can find. And our team of paralegals and multi-district litigation professionals are capable of gathering, and then we'll put it to the superintendent and their staff and have them review it. But we try and be very aware of that adage that you're expected to do more with less and not be a burden on the district. Not financially, because we don't ask for any recovery of costs if we don't have a recovery in the case. And also with workload, because we're not interested in creating a lot more work in the district. We're interested in holding these social media platforms accountable. So that, I think that concludes my presentation. Is that right? Slide. Oh, that's a horrible picture. Actually, it's airbrushed. They took out some of the freckles, which is awesome. And that is the conclusion of my presentation. I'm happy to stand for questions, Madam President and board members and superintendent. Thank you, Brad.
I email comment, we did have an issue where I'm looking for cyberbullying, and you guys back concerned with your teacher, or the student that, took them out of. So I was doing, I done some research with what you guys are doing, and I met with you guys in the conferences, a couple of times. I think it was your son, around. But I have looked into it, and I've mentioned about bullying, and the other one was very interested in bullying also, and kind of all of them, but that's happened in our community.
Madam President, Vice President, thank you.
Board members, do you have any questions at this time for Mr. Cole? I'm going to ask a little clarification, because I imagine we're all going to come up with about 50 questions as soon as you walk out the door. That's how it always goes.
And Madam President, it's my intention, as I've seen the agenda, it's my intention to be present, not inside your executive session, but then wait in case there's any questions when you come out of executive session. I plan to remain until you're.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think the question that comes up, at least for me looking at it, one of the roles of the board, of course, is selecting attorneys and, the will to sue and be sued as far as our roles go. what is the typical process that a school district has with you? Should the district decide to engage in this litigation?
Madam President, board members, Mr. Superintendent, there's no typical, it's what the district prefers. Some districts have me kind of report out quarterly and come back and give updates on, at this point, things are moving slow, as one might expect for litigation this large. But we certainly stay in close contact with your leadership team, the superintendent. I'm always available to the board members to come back and have a little good excuse to come to that. So I'm always happy to do that. I hope that answers your question. There's really no kind of singular platform. You know, in Las Cruces, I actually went down and superintendent, your colleague down there is terrific. You know, I'm really fond of him, and he came up with a suggestion and said, look, if possible, you know, when we join this litigation, we'd like you actually to hold a town hall to inform our community about what we're doing, because they were motivated for two problems. One, for litigation holding accountable, but two, for amplifying the message about the dark side of social media. And he talked about, you know, if we deliver that message to their community, that sometimes it's received a little differently than when the superintendent was talking about it. So we did that. We actually did. We had incredibly well attended. I brought in mental health professional, the lead attorney on the multi-district litigation. I was there, another attorney from Las Cruces, because I had a Las Cruces office, and then I had a fifth person on the panel. I don't know exactly who else, but you know, and it was just really well received. So every district has kind of asked us to tailor things a little differently for what their desires are, and we're happy to do that.
And then as far as staff involvement, you talked about what you're going to be presenting, and then you would ask Superintendent Widener and his staff to look over those things. What type of things are those?
Sure. Madam President, school board members, Superintendent Widener, in this case, the way it's been set up and the judge that's running this MDL, multi-district litigation, she has established two plaintiff's fact sheets, and they're basically kind of a lot of data questions. So instead of propounding normal discovery on the parties that are in the litigation, they propound collective discovery. And so what we do is we try and gather as much of that data as possible that's available through public record, and then we present it to the executive team for them to review it for accuracy and answer some questions that we may not have access to for whatever reason, or we weren't able to find. And so, again, it is a little bit of time, but we just try to be very aware of that time constraint. And look, if you were going to be the bellwether school district, it would require a lot of time. You won't be the bellwether district. It's just kind of the way that litigation is structured. But I will also tell you that sometimes when we reach global settlements in these types of cases, there's sometimes what we call a lodestar factor in the settlement that increases the settlement for those who got on board at certain junctures. So like the first 200 school districts or whatever, or the school districts. Because I will tell you this, if we have seen anything in terms of the rulings and where this case is headed, we believe that claims are going to be victorious in the bellwether. Once that happens, our many other colleagues, Superintendent Widener has around the country, they're all going to be citing it. Kind of like Jewel, related to Jewel, did the district participate in Jewel? I don't think it did, but many districts around the country, and a lot of them came to the table very late. And again, it's not always about the money, but you know, a little bit of money for the district helps send a few more FFAers or dentist students to conference. Or quite frankly, that's money that can be invested in mental health professionals and standing up best practices for industry mental services, which is what I think is going to happen.
So it's not a class act there.
It's not a class act. We represent, it is an MDL. So there are certain attorneys that are on leadership that will negotiate if settlement discussions come to fruition and to bear. But we represent every district individually and not as a class. It's a great question. Most folks aren't dialed in enough to know that they're seeing. We as a firm philosophically do mass actions as opposed Those are the two class actions. And that gives our clients the ability, more of an ability to say yes or no to settle the discussion.
You, board members. Any other questions for Mr. Peterman at this time?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
We
very much.
appreciate you being here. And there's, I think, some pizza and salad.
Pizza.
Whatnot in the office right next door. Please make yourself come out of
How do we find
the.
some water? I don't know, pizza will look better on you all from me. Some water.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Madam President, board members. Really, it's an honor to be here.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Board members, we're gonna move on now to our consent agenda. We do have consideration of approval of 2 bars. The first bar is 088 0002526 009-I, and the next is 0010-I. Superintendent.
Again, board members, we have 2 budget adjustment requests. And we move money as our budget was set for the year, so we can pay our bills, have money where it needs to be. So I recommend that we do approve tonight's consent agenda.
All right, board members, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed? You all are tied. We'll give it to Mr. Clausen. Yeah.
We're good.
Yes, sir. We're moving along. It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Mr. Jaramillo to approve the consent agenda as listed, including the 2 bars. We shall proceed to roll call vote. Mrs. Shirley, please.
Mr. Jaramillo. Ms. Lorena, yes. Ms. Salazar, yes. Ms. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. Superintendent, you have a report. So
Board members, my superintendent's report is kind of going to be short. I was very eager and ambitious when I was creating it. The first item, I have included the flyer in the superintendent's report section. We have a great event coming up that we have celebrated in our district for the past 7 years, Dr. Martin? 7 years. We celebrate what we called it Kinderfest. Its name has evolved. It's the Kindergarten Festival of Talents. And it's a really great event in our district where our kids are highlighting their talents. They're drawing, they're coloring, they're singing, they're doing poetry, they're reading, doing a lot of neat things. And our kindergartners are pretty cute and they're pretty amazing. Again, parents, we thank you for sending your kids to our district. We love our kindergartners and they learn a lot. And so I would encourage any of you that wanted to go to Kindergarten Festival of Talents to go. You're welcome to go be a judge. You can kind of judge the coloring competition, or and we can put out a PSA if more than 3 of you want to go, if more than 2 of you want to go. And we'll have that at Mesa View on March 12th. So if you're interested in going to Kinderfest, let Chanda know and she'll get us set up for that. Now my second section, I was really excited. A week ago, I was really excited to talk to you guys about all the legislation and what had come out of Santa Fe. And then we all got the email from the New Mexico School Board Association. And so you know what bills have gone through and what we're looking at as we build our budget, and the great things that have come out of Santa Fe. Fortunately, we don't have money coming out of our current budget. So the money is secured there. The governor has until the 11th to sign off on everything. And so we're just waiting about a week, and and hoping that everything goes through and in the near future, when we talk about our budget, Mr. Jones will share all the excitement that we have about the 80-20 healthcare and the 1% salary increase for state employees. So lots of exciting stuff. So I didn't want to insult you guys by putting your email. It's in the drive but you all did get the email. So it was a great legislative session, and I myself really enjoyed being there with all of you and learning with you. And some of you in this room are really good with legislators, and so I'm thankful to you guys for walking me around and introducing me. So, Madam President, that's going to kind of conclude the superintendent's report.
Very good, sir. We will move to executive session. Board members, we have discussion of limited personnel matters pursuant to NMSA 1978, section 10-15-1, H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically for the board to discuss superintendent board relations, for the board to present results of the superintendent's evaluation and discussion of the superintendent's contract. Also, discussion pursuant to NMSA 1978, section 10-15-1, H4 of the Open Meetings Act to discuss possible or pending litigation. No action will be taken and only the items listed will be discussed. Board members, are there any amendments to the executive session? All right, is there a motion to move to executive session as presented? All right, it has been moved by Ms. Salazar and seconded by Mr. Jaramillo to move to executive. Was it Donald? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me correct that. It has been moved by Ms. Lorenzo. I thought I could tell your voices apart. I was getting good up until that one. It has been moved by Ms. Lorenzo and seconded by Mr. Jaramillo to move to executive session as presented. Mrs. Turley.
Mr. Clausen.
Yes.
Mr. Avenue.
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo. Yes. Ms. Salazar.
Yes. Aye, the motion carries. The board has moved to executive session at 7:08 p.m. We will take a few moments to get situated and meet in here.
Yeah.
No, I just need
Oh,
to.
you do?
Get off my calendar.
And then All right. Board members, to the public who is watching, to our one lone audience member.
Go, Arena.
Board members, discussion of limited personnel matters pursuant to NMSA 1978, section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically for the board to discuss superintendent board relations, for the board to present results of the superintendent's evaluation and discussion of the superintendent's contract. Also, discussion pursuant to NMSA 1978, section 10-15-1H, excuse me, 4 of the Open Meetings Act to discuss possible or pending litigation. No action was taken and only the items listed were discussed. Board members, is there a motion to reconvene open session as presented? All right, it has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Mr. Jaramillo to reconvene open session as presented. We shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Turley, please.
Mr. Clausen?
Yes.
Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo? Ms. Salazar? Yes. Mrs. Lee?
Aye, the motion carries. The board reconvene open session at 8:46 p.m. Board members, right now we have consideration of approval to join social media litigation. At this time, the board does not wish to take action for this item. I will thank Mr. Brian Colon again for joining us this evening and sharing with us such an invaluable presentation to make us aware of really truly the dangers of social media and what is going on right now. Superintendent Widener, I believe that in order for us to take action possibly at a later time, there's some due diligence that needs to be done on the district side of this. And I think that we need to learn a bit more. This is a first presentation for several of the board members. A couple of us have had an opportunity to attend the NMSBA conference and hear Mr. Colon's presentation previously, so we were a little bit more aware. But we would like, as a board, to ask the district to look into this matter in a bit more detail and perhaps have more detailed conversations with Mr. Colon as to what this truly looks like for a district. So again, Mr. Colon, the information that you shared with us was absolutely invaluable. And there's much that we as a district need to learn about this and what we can do for the students in our district. And you have opened our eyes as to the need for social media giants to be held accountable for the damages that are being done to the youth in America. So thank you so much for being here with us this evening.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. That's perfect, and I'll look forward to engaging with Superintendent Widener. Answer any outstanding questions you might have, or any, as you have further thoughts when you leave or when I walk out in 5 more minutes and more questions come to mind, please just convey those to the superintendent. I'm happy to take his call anytime and continue exploring with you the district's desire to engage with us. Very appreciate that.
I just have one question. If I
Yes,
may.
ma'am, of course.
Of the districts that you're currently representing, do any of them have the nations, Poland, and tribes within those districts, and kind of what is their take on all of this?
Yeah, Madam President, members of the board, currently, so I know that Farmington School District is getting ready to take action on this, and I believe they have some of the Pueblos, nations and tribes, more specifically the Navajo Nation. Los Lunas School District is looking at it, which would include Isleta Pueblo. I know Cuba District is looking at it. They have Navajo also, but they also have one of this. Amos, right? I knew they had a Pueblo in there as well. So there are several that are considering, but none that are specifically represented at this moment in time. Thanks for the question. Thank you, Madam President. Board member.
Anything else, board members, for Mr. Colon? Again, thank you so much, sir.
No, Madam President, members of the board, you were so generous with your time. I really, really do appreciate you allowing me the presentation and continuing to contemplate engaging, and I look forward to a conversation with Superintendent Whiteman going forward.
That is, unless the evaluation was really bad, in which case, well, but I suspected that didn't happen.
Mr. Superintendent, thank you.
Don't call me, I'll call you.
Nice to.
Thank you so much.
And they travel.
Thank you.
They'll be all right. I'll
Yeah.
excuse myself.
Please be safe.
Okay, great.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you so
Have a
much.
good night.
Board members. Future agenda items. Mr. Wagner.
I will try to get through these very quickly. As you guys know, we are going to build a budget as soon as we know what the unit values are and all of that at the spring budget, we will be developing our annual budget. So that's a future agenda. We are currently working on our policies and procedures, and you're seeing the policy side. I am very excited to share with you the procedure side in the very near future. Mrs. Lifebook will be kind of helping us with that work, so she'll be coming to a future board meeting and presenting that. As I mentioned a little bit ago to you as board members, our graduation rate is looking good. So we're very excited about that, and we'll have a presentation at our next meeting sharing with you the data of our current graduation rates. Middle of year data, we want to present the data to you so you know where the students are and that they are succeeding academically. We'll have more policy updates as part of the systems building. We're making sure that all of our policies are up to date. We talked about the superintendent evaluation. We have to update that policy. Facility master plan, I have shared it with everybody with Donald. Donald and I will share the facility master plan with you. And we want to adopt it in the near future. So I'll share that with you. Tribal consultations, we had a really good talk about that in our work session this weekend, and we definitely have to have spring tribal consultations. So be ready to share with you information about that. RFPs, right now we have RFPs out for food services. We have one out for the furniture for Mason View. And so you'll be involved in the selection of who we choose. Currently working on a school resource officer through a memorandum of understanding with the Grants Police. There's a lot of anagrams there, but the idea is that we want to have school resource officers. Ms. Griego will be presenting on math adoption. She was in Ruidoso last week getting really good samples and information on the math curriculum publishers. And now she's going to bring that back and get it in the hands of the teachers. So you'll be involved with the math adoption. Working on the Grand Cibola County School career pathways. And then we have the New Mexico financial literacy presentation. And we'll have follow up on that in the near future. And then.
That'll
we-
be actually happening at the
I was
March
just wondering-
24th
I was
meeting.
just wondering about that.
Yep.
Perfect. And then we'll want to talk about our graduation requirements, because those have changed a bit. And so we'll want to talk about that. And that is all of the future agenda items I have, unless
Yeah. Next meeting.
you all have any.
I just have a comment or, Mr. Wagner on the, spring travel consultation. If I could just make a suggestion that part of that consultation really be about developing a consultation plan with the tribes, like what, and that will give us as a district an opportunity to really know and understand what consultation means to them. And so there's no, right, like everybody's putting their expectations out there and there's no guessing. And so when you have a meeting like the summit, right, people are not like, was that consultation? Was that not consultation? Right? Or that was wonderful. If not, that wasn't so great, you know? But I think that spring consultation can really help clean the slate. I always get analogies wrong, whatever it's supposed to clean. You're saying something, right?
Right.
And just like starting fresh, right? I mean, there's new leadership there with Laguna and with Acoma, right? And I think really understanding what they would like to see in consultation, so it's productive and meaningful, and they don't get the sense that it's like, oh, we're just checking the box to be compliant.
And do you stretch up towards the red one too, up to towards?
Yeah,
Ideal?
very much, yeah.
It's like, great. That's what.
Yeah, I don't do it all then.
Road trip.
Yeah.
I'll go with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we have to remember that back there too.
Announcements?
Yes, sir.
Yes, announcements. We missed the concert.
We sure did.
We missed. the concert.
We sure did.
The concert was tonight. Again, we have the Kindergarten Festival of Talents coming up at Mesa View on March 12th. If you would like to go, please let
3:45.
3:45. Please let Chanda know.
Well, I'm telling you now, yeah.
Yeah, Chanda put me down.
So you got two Chanda.
Two of us.
And you know what we did forget to put on here? And I'm so upset that we did. Academics tomorrow. No, academics at Laguna Academy tomorrow. And we did put a PSA,
Yes.
6:00. We did put a
So maybe
PSA out
that's
for
what I
that.
had for tomorrow. I got.
6 or 5? 6, I thought.
I put mine too.
I would look, no, I'm gonna look because that's.
Well, I knew there was something Wednesday, but I thought it was a concert, but no, it is. It is the launch.
It's a thing with me because I put, try knowing I can find some silent for. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It says the games last week were at 6:00.
5:30.
The new date is at 5:30.
Yeah.
Not 5:30.
So you don't have to.
So we just.
Right, we were all right.
It would have been there, would have been there at 30.
5:30
And
tomorrow.
then they have the girls basketball first round state.
Here.
At Laguna.
All right.
Awesome,
The district.
awesome.
So then they'll
High
go to, then they
schools
go to
play.
the state.
Well, this is the first round. for the
Right.
state.
The Grants Pirate Girls are playing
Hope.
Hope at Hope on
Yeah.
Friday night.
That just, we just found that out today.
Yep, we
So
sure
we'll
did.
have some good basketball played.
When it's all.
I apologize for not getting tomorrow night on there, everybody.
March 12th through 14th, we have the Four Corners Regional Science Fair. That'll be at the Grants Branch.
Yep.
In MSU.
Yep.
And then, March 13th and 14th, we have the GHS Spring Musical and Drama, drama performance, The Descendants. I think that's the Descendants.
Yep.
So The Descendants. And then we have spring break, the 16th through the 20th. Some of you board members will be attending the spring budget workshop. Getting our information there. Then our next regular board meeting will be March 24th. We moved that so it can interfere with spring break. And so on our calendar, it said March 17th. We did agree to change that to the 24th. And then on the March 31st, we will be hosting our NMSBA Region 4 meeting at Cabero Elementary School. How many do you have registered for that?
Like 8.
8, and then you guys.
Is that a Tuesday?
Well, will there be a virtual option?
31st.
I will, on present international.
Or at,
Oklahoma City.
Nice.
which is fun. I had a conference in Oklahoma City. Yeah. It is a
Not to live there, but yeah, I like it. Started there.
And that, Madam President, all of the announcements I have.
That was a lot,
There's a
sorry.
lot. The future agenda items.
We had a big list.
What time is that meeting at?
Our
First, 5. Right, or 5:30?
Which one?
Let's say 5.
Yeah, 5.
All she wants to do is walk across the street.
5 at Cabero Elementary.
If you're late.
But you've already made,
Right.
or you have to go.
What? They make it.
Oh, okay.
They make it, we're just hosting it.
They just host.
Candace's gonna get us some good food.
Yep, it's gonna be great. Superintendent,
I recommend that we adjourn this meeting.
excellent. Board members, is there a motion to adjourn as amended?
Our travelers are ready.
Yeah.
Was there a second?
Second.
I will give it to the ladies. It has been moved by Ms. Lorenzo and seconded by Ms. Salazar to adjourn the meeting as amended. Mr.
Mr. Austin?
Yes, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. very much.
I appreciate you guys.
Oh, yes.
Miss Lorenzo?
Sorry.
Yes. Miss Alvarez? Yes, me.
Aye, the motion carries. The board adjourned at 9:02 PM.
Thank you, guys.